accountable. Delaying tactics is his nickname, because everything else he does, he deliberately delays it with the hope that the country will forget about that matter. Let's take, for example, the Gupta Gate. Who remembers what happened? Who did what? Who was held accountable? Such a story just died a natural death. The DA, if it was not pursuing the tapes will be a story today. Now, we are seized with the matter of Nkandla with a very clear conclusion by the public protector that he must pay the money. He outlines a separate process which will further give him time with the hope that society will forget. We're not going to do that. We're going to sit in the parliamentary committee, and we can only cooperate in the assembly if we get an assurance that Zuma will come to answer in the parliamentary committee, where he will take time to take us through and will question him without any time limit. If that is not an assurance, then we need to ask those questions and get proper answers in the assembly. So when Mahlobo came to us and Twele, we told them very clear that the house must be adjourned. Leader of government business must convene leaders of the opposition. All of us into one meeting. We need to discuss the way forward. The way forward is, how do we get parliamentary system which holds the executive accountable in a more efficient and effective way, and not what has been happening since 1994. And on the matter, the leader of government business will have to give us an assurance that the president will be available for thorough questioning in the parliamentary committee which is seized with this matter, and I will be representing the EFF in that committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President. I'm going to get the members of the media to raise questions. Let me identify the first round. It's the opportunity then to acquaint yourself with our issues. 1, ETV, ENCA, and then the Sunday Times, Eyewitness News, and in that order. You know, come closer where there is a mic. These facilities are very useful, I promise you. We'll start with ENCA.
For the child, EFF Mr. Malema, someone asked me a question. Is this a sad day for Parliament? What would be your response?
Number 2, Sunday Times.
Where's my...
Thank you, Jan and Yubal, for the Sunday Times. Mr. Malema, how would you describe the chairmanship of the new Speaker of the National Assembly and the chairmanship to which you've been made to answer in the last 2 months?
Okay, Eyewitness News.
Thanks, Gay Davis. Was this afternoon, was it a deliberate plan on your part? Just interested in that. And can you, the Speaker referred to consultations taking place. Can you shed any light on that? Have you been engaged in any such consultations? Thanks.
Commander-in-Chief in the procedure.
We were consulted by the Minister Twele and Mahlobo, and we told them that we're not going. Mahlobo is the state security, so I said we're not going to leave the house. We have to adjourn, and there must be a meeting between leader of government business and leaders of the opposition to outline how we're going to deal with the effectiveness of Parliament to hold the executive accountable. Because, as it were, this Parliament has been useless for the past 20 years. And they are continuing as business as usual. So we want a different method. So we are part of that. And she was right when she said all oppositions were consulted, because those people came and spoke to us. The plan today was to get the answer. And I did make it very clear when I spoke to Mr. Zuma that, and he thought we were joking, that we are not going to leave that place today before we get a proper response. And he started answering in a manner he did because he thought that we are part of those people he's having dinners with at night. And we had to do what we did because it can't be correct. Well, the chairmanship thing we spoke about, I don't know what's the chairmanship. What is the question about it? Because the speaker runs through what has been the practice. And I'm saying that practice is wrong. That is the most dangerous thing. It's wrong. They hide behind point of order. They hide behind the matter has been referred to committee. You can't do this, you can't do that. When we're elected, we had a big billboard said, stop the Nkandla corruption. We're not playing when we said that. We meant it. When we addressed the rallies, we said, we're going to get you, the voters, the answer on what happened in Nkandla. And we're true to our mandate. We're not here because we're playing. We've got a plan. Everything else we do, look at our manifesto, look at our campaign, then you will get the answer. We're doing exactly what we said, exactly what we voted for. It's not a sad day for Parliament. This is a good day for Parliament. Protest is allowed. Freedom of expression is allowed. And at this level, it must be unlimited. Must never be scared to engage in any form of protest, insisting that the executive must be held accountable. We are protected by the Constitution and the rules that are governing that place. Remember, in the last incident of Parliament, they said, we're going to take action, we're going to take action. All of you were making headlines. Action is going to be taken against EFF. Where is the action now? Where is the action? There's no action to be taken anywhere. That Parliament, we've got an absolute freedom of expression and freedom of speech. And we're going to use it effectively. They were playing with it. They didn't use it effectively. We're going to teach them how to use that matter, that freedom, protected and enshrined in our Constitution, effectively. For the first time, the ANC got an opposition since 1994. That's why they hold their head like they don't know how to handle it. What must we do? Must we push doors? Must we go? What must happen? Why? Because for the first time since 1994, they got the real opposition. They must run for their money. We're not playing here. This Parliament, we said it will never be the same. It won't be the same. We're threatened here by ANC staff members here, threatening to assault us when we get out of Parliament. We hope you've covered that. Because how does a political party go and mobilize its staff members to come and beat up members of Parliament for disagreeing with their party in Parliament? That's a disgrace. They must be ashamed they can't fight their own battles. They go and call PAs to come and fight their battles. We are not here to entertain those PAs. We are here to entertain members of Parliament. If there is anyone who was looking for a fight there by members of Parliament, we are ready to entertain that one. Not those useless ones who are marching here, begging their jobs. We are not entertaining those people. So, Parliament today is a good thing. Those who served in this Parliament for a very long time, for sure they are shocked that they never thought they would live to see such a thing in Parliament. Anything is possible in Parliament. Anything. But now we're not employed by the ANC. And will never be told by the ANC how we must oppose them. We're fighting them. This is just the beginning. We're fighting them. Zuma must bring the money. Zuma must pay. All of us who are paying, man. Must pay, we pay. We're all paying. We're paying a lot of monies to SARS here, paying everything. Because we are being told to pay. We are not above institutions. So why should Zuma think he's above? We must all pay. Let him pay the money. The rest of who gets charged and all will entertain those things. In the meantime, let him pay some portion as a demonstration of commitment to pay. So we need him to pay. That's all.
Right. You know, like we did make an observation about the Speaker of Parliament. Like she's too conflicted. She sits with the President of the ANC in one committee, possibly every Monday. And then they talk in terms of how they are going to suppress the critical information which this Parliament must deal with. So like she's clearly partisan. Like on everything else that Baleka Mbete does is partisan. When we raise orders and we speak on issues, she automatically says sit down and automatically rules against you on everything. But when ANC members stand up to speak, she allows them to talk as and when they wish. They even make inputs there. They just stand up to say, I want to make an input here in terms of what should happen. And it's not part of the rules that they're doing there. But they're allowed to insult us, to undermine us, to try to belittle us, because they've got a partisan Speaker of Parliament who's presiding over that house. And we have made concrete submissions that Parliament can hold the executive accountable because we have got partisan presiding officers. And that must come to an end. There must be a way of dealing with this differently. One of the proposals we made during the budget vote on Parliament was to say that we need to have maybe retired judges or people who understand procedure in a fair way to preside over the House, not political appointees and employees who at all times are taking sides with their political party. They sit in the same caucus, they come to say, no, we must hold people accountable, knowing that they're going to suppress all these developments that happen there. So really, Baleka Mbete is not helping this Parliament. It's actually undermining the separation of powers because there's no separation between the executive and Parliament. It's like the same thing. And that really should change if we really want to protect this democracy.
But the other thing is that, if you remember that thing of a motion of no confidence against Zuma where people voted in that Parliament, the Speaker was then Max Sulu. I was still in the ANC, got into serious trouble for allowing that thing of motion of no confidence and people voting and those things. They said you are humiliating the president. How could you have allowed that? And those kind of things. Because they meet here, they come and behave like they are neutral. When they finish, immediately they go to the Chule house. And they get told there by people who don't even sit in this Parliament. Weatherman Party doesn't even know the procedure here. Late night didn't know the procedure. Even me, I didn't know the procedure. But I used to tell them what they must do here. Whatever happens, don't allow. So they come here and that's a flawed procedure because they've got a mandate from the Chule house that they shouldn't allow certain things. You know, we must not, and that thing of pressing there, and I don't trust that body. I don't trust her at all. I know I've worked with her. She's the most dishonest person I know. People can press there because they only take 4 people. If she doesn't like you, the likelihood is that she's going to jump you and take the other. You don't have any form of verifying if you are in the top 4 or you are not in the top 4. They just say, no, you are not there. You are number 6. Next, let's move. Because I wanted to raise an issue there. When I rose on that point and they couldn't allow me, Zuma lied to Parliament. And we're going to take him on that issue of question of my money. Zuma says, how do I respond to the charges I don't know? He says, maybe you, my money, knows the charges. I don't know the charges. But Zuma is lying when he says he doesn't know the charges, because for you to make representation to the NPA, you must respond to the charges. Zuma has made representations to the NPA, which is a clear indication that Zuma knows the charges. How do you make the representations if you don't know the charges? Myself, I made the representations to the NPA. Before I do that, I will have to get the charges and say to them, this charge can't hold because of the following reasons. So, when Zuma says he doesn't know the charges, what does it mean? Zuma misled Parliament, Zuma lied in Parliament, and we're taking him on that point. I wanted to tell him there, didn't want to gossip about it, because I'm not like that, and they refused me to tell him there that you are lying, you know the charges, you can't make representations if you don't know the charges. You are making representations based on what? Thank you.
Thanks, President. Let's take another round, possibly of new hands. For those that have just walked in, it's question time. Mail and Guardian, the SABC Radio, and then the Sunday Times. Wait, from E-News. Oh, the whole E-News team is here, President. It looks like that. So get closer to the mic. That is why I'm unable to identify you because I'm not in the mic. Okay, let's hear the Mail and Guardian.
From the Mail and Guardian. When Ministers Mashobo and Kwele came to speak to you, what do they say? And can you also tell us what is it that you want the leader of government what you want to talk to him about with Cyril? Secondly, this time around, I mean, last time we know you all walked out of the house when you were not agreeing with the speaker. This time you decided to sit in. Can you tell us about the change of tactics? Why prompted the sit in instead of the walking out? You are the one who brought up the SARS issue. You said you are paying. Are you paying?
But I didn't come to the second question. The second one.
Okay, so I wanted to know, because the last time you walked out when the whole issue around Marikana, this time you decided to sit in. So I wanted to ask about the change of tactics.
And then the third one?
Are you paying SARS or have you paid SARS?
Excellent. This SABC Radio.
Mercedes from SABC Radio. Mr. Malema, you say that Parliament has been useless for the past 20 years and you want to see a different method. Can you share some of your proposals? Besides what happened today, just generally the rules and everything. Will you be able to share some of the EFF's proposals? And you also talk about the opposition, that it's for the first time that you have an effective opposition. You know, what are you trying to say about the other opposition parties? Particularly the official opposition over the last 20 years. Are you also trying to say that the opposition has been, as you say, Parliament has been useless, has been useless?
All right. The Sunday Times is repeating. Oh, so is the ETV. Go on, Chief.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Malema, arising from your answer to the question, you said that when you were not in Parliament yet, you had instructed your fellow ANC members in Duly House to not allow anything. Have you come to a different conclusion now that you are here, and should the roles be reversed, would you act differently?
Okay. ETV, get closer to the mic. Oh, you've got, thank you.
Thank you very much. It seems that there are certain staff members of particular parties or MPs who seem to be smarting for a physical fight, as what we've seen outside the chamber doors and also up in the gallery. Is there any concern that this could somehow boil over into violence, physical violence? We've seen it in the lane earlier, so some sort of scuffle. Is that not a concern? Thanks.
All right, President and the press media. Answer time.
When we're inside the chamber there, we're told that the ANC is mobilizing the staff members to come and beat us up because we've got our people in the ANC. So we knew that there was staff members of the ANC who were coming. Don't say certain staff members, it's ANC staff members only. There was never any staff member from COBE or anything like that who came there. It's ANC. And we addressed that point before you came in, so your colleague can brief you in detail as to what we have done. But we are very concerned that members of parliament can actually call staff members to come and intervene on parliamentary matters. That shows how incapacitated members of the ANC parliament are, and they rely on their PAs to fight their battles. So we don't want that. Look, it will be extremely wrong for anyone to give these members of parliament their instruction. I think if tables were to be turned, we'll say, can we trust the parliamentary leadership to handle parliamentary proceedings at that level, and then they will continuously brief the party leadership at the party headquarters. Because there is detailed procedures here. These people sit in meetings every morning. They persuade each other. When you've got a mandate from useless people who don't know the procedure, you just stick to that mandate, even when you are being persuaded that the right thing is this. So it's micromanagement, and it's rendering this parliament ineffective. So exactly what I was. Look, the opposition has complied to every little piece of rules of the Assembly, National Assembly. And we are arguing as EFF that this majority of these rules come from the apartheid times. Apartheid made it impossible for opposition to exist effectively and oppose it in a manner that it will be held accountable. They continue with everything as is. Actually, what you think sometimes are the rules are not the rules. The first thing we were to expose in those rules was that there was nothing that is putting us to call each other honorable. But when they arrived, they found apartheid guys calling each other honorable, and they continued with it, and they assumed it was in the rules. The other one, Floyd, just spoke about it now, of not being in the rules, which the chief whip of the ANC agreed with.
Yeah, that it was not the rule, the practice.
The wall of circulation of motions before.
Yes, circulations of motions. They said the rule said it was exposed that it is not a rule. And the chair, the Balaga, who doesn't know the rules and want to preside over the rules that this is a rule. The chief whip of the ANC stands up and contradicts it. That no, it's not a rule, it's a practice. So sometimes they just impose non-existing rules. Why? Because they've inherited the system and they're comfortable with the system. They continue with it as is. Our proposal is that we need to have a Scopa-like type of parliament, where a member of parliament comes, a member of the executive comes, gives whatever report they give, and we grill them. You get an opportunity to go through whatever has been presented. You and that person direct. Question, answer my question. That type of an arrangement. Because these people just say in one sentence, I answered that thing. That's it. And then you try to stand up the Honorable Malema, you have spoken. You have spoken. Nobody is not, you have spoken. Order. They hide behind those things. So there must be an opportunity to cross-examine what has been presented before us, especially critical issues which we think we need to spend some time on them, digging for the truth to come out. This parliament must be a platform where we unearth the truth. But as is, it will never, help us. I think the SARS matter is closed. And for sure you know what it means when it says it's SARS and myself, we have announced that it's closed. I guess SARS collects money and then the taxpayer pay. So it can't be closed if the two have not met their obligations. So the matter is closed. That's why I'm here. Zuma's wish would have been that I must be sequestrated and don't come here. So I'm here to stay. The SARS matter is closed. And Batamil was jumping. They say, hey, yeah, you must also pay it. I'm paying a lot. You must know I pay a lot of money. I'm not paying cents, I'm paying a lot. Well, We can't walk out when we're looking for an answer. When we raised the matter of Marikana, they asked us to withdraw, we refused to withdraw. And they said we must leave, we left. So they can't say you must go out, you go out, but yet you are looking for an answer. The answer is inside. So wait. You must sit inside and demand the answer. So today we're looking for the answer. That's why we didn't walk out. We stayed in because we want the answer. Those who didn't want to give the answer, they went outside. Because they don't want to be accountable. Matlobo and Twele came to us and said they are requesting that all members of the EFF must go outside because Parliament is suspended or something. Yeah, and then all members are outside, so we must also go outside. Then when we resume, will then all of us come in? We said no, we prefer to sit inside. Because if it's suspended, then it's your choice whether you are staying in or going outside. It can be a political discussion. So we are sitting inside. And then they said, so what must be the way forward? We said it must be adjourned. Cyril Ramaphosa must convene leaders of the opposition. We need to talk on the method of accountability in Parliament. And then they left and did exactly that. And then the way forward we are saying, which is very clear, is that the programs committee, whoever is responsible, must give us an assurance that President Zuma will appear before the committee. Once we get an assurance that President Zuma will appear before the committee and we're questioning, then we're fine. We can let go in the assembly and continue the battle in the committee. Why are we battling it out at the assembly? Because we are likely not to see that man anyway on that question. So that is the only platform where we can engage with him, and we must use it effectively. So if they say no, leave him, he's coming to the committee, thank you. We'll leave the man, and then we'll meet in the committee, where we'll discuss this matter in detail. Thank you.
Excellent. I'm going to take the last round, honorable press members. I'm cautioning the House that I'm about to adjourn.
The Sunday Times is looking for one-to-one.
It's looking for a scoper arrangement of a press conference. We're going to start there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then Sunday Times will conclude, and that will be it really. We'll have the final minute. Excellent.
Asanda Leche from the SABC. There's a long-standing issue that opposition parties have been trying to champion in Parliament. Mr. Lekoto knows about a proposal for an oversight committee on the presidency, because there isn't a committee currently. When you're talking about changing issues and having accountability, is the EFF looking to champion that cause? Because in the previous Parliament, opposition parties couldn't get anywhere with that proposal. Are you looking to look at that proposal again?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Number 2.
Chantal Presence from SAFA. The ANC has just put out a statement now where they accuse you of being anarchists and the violent nature in which you engage on issues. I just wondered if you could respond to that.
In that order, SABC.
Thank you very much. Luka Metrolata, SABC. I just need to get a timeline for when you would like to have this meeting with the leader of government business. How soon would you like to meet? Have you indicated at all to him when you would like, or at least to Twele and the other minister, when you would like to meet with the deputy president? Thank you.
In that order. Beard, is that Beard? Media 24, yes.
Media 24. Would you describe it as a kind of a turning point on the Nkandla issue? Do you think the attitude of the ANC will change towards it because of what happened today? Or do you think it will be business as usual?
In that order. Mercedes.
And when I look at what has been happening in the National Assembly, it comes back to you as the EFF not being happy with the rules. And I mean, that's what I've seen, you know, in most of the occasions. So what I would like to know, have you ever considered challenging the constitutionality of some of the rules? Because some of the constitutionality of some of the rules have been challenged in the past in the Constitutional Court successfully. Mario Ambrosini, for example, did that. We know that. So in your case, are there certain sections or certain clauses or certain rules which you are unhappy with, which you think the constitutionality of those rules need to be challenged? If you can share with us, but the principal question is the constitutionality of the rules. Have you ever considered, because I'm sure as a party, as an MP, you can challenge the rules if you're not happy or if you question the constitutionality of the rules.
Sunday Times.
Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity again. As I understand the much discussed and maligned rules, every committee will decide for itself who it calls and who it doesn't. Now, my understanding is you are asking a meeting with Mr. Ramaphosa to basically say that Mr. Zuma must personally come and account to this ad hoc committee. And the second option that you raised was to go to the programming committee. But my understanding would be that the answer would be that every committee decides who it wants to call. Now, if A, that's the answer that you get, which I'll bet on every dollar I have. And secondly, if he then decides he doesn't want to come, what do you do then?
And then Mr. Legoda of COPE is also interested in asking the government in waiting. He wants to say something.
I'd like to say something.
Oh, say something, excellent.
Yeah. Well, first of all, to say that I think it's a very courageous position that the EFF took today. In the last term, this issue of the right of members to say what they may say, what they want to say, and what they are allowed to say under the Constitution, we took up very vigorously. And ultimately, when the Speaker had ruled against us, Deputy Speaker, we took the matter to the courts. The judiciary is there to decide, to resolve an issue that two parties who cannot resolve it must then be a neutral venue to do that. What then happened is that the judiciary failed us because it then said, no, go back and discuss it there. We had gone there because we had failed to resolve the matter amongst ourselves. And we thought the legal route is the way to go. When that had failed, that route was closed. When the EFF takes up this matter in this parliament, that route has been walked, it has failed. The ruling party, the president and the ruling party must take responsibility for this anarchy. The anarchist is not citizens who have a constitution and obey the constitution, and then the ruling party does not respect the constitution. In all societies, the only time you have order is when the ruling party is the first to demonstrate and to lead in obeying the constitution. So they abuse the processes in the House. Now the president has been ordered by the public protector. Section 182 of the Constitution, subsection 1C, it says very succinctly, the public protector may prescribe remedial action. Once the public protector has prescribed the remedial action, the president, the cabinet, members of parliament, opposition parties, citizens, everybody must comply. They must comply because the Constitution is the basic law of our country. The president, who's sworn allegiance to the Constitution, continuously violates the Constitution. So when it happens like that, in all societies, anarchy descends because there's no more rule of law. So, frankly, there's no committee that this matter must go to. This issue must go back to the floor of Parliament. The President must say to the nation, I uphold the Constitution.
Yes.
I will comply with what the Public Protector has said must be done, and I will pay. Period. Now, not all of us had the temerity to act with such forthrightness as you've done. We must pay tribute to that. But we must insist that we support the demand that the President must comply with the determination of the Public Protector. And I want to say that the ANC must think again. The anarchists are not in this room with red overalls. The anarchists are those who are in power and who are refusing to uphold the primary law of our land. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President and the Presidium.
Thank you very much, President Bosco. I think the points are very clear. And the statement of anarchists and all that, we are not shaken by that. You don't respect the Public Protector, and you expect people to respect you. You don't respect the court rulings on spy tapes, you expect people to respect you. Yeah. You kill people in Marikana, you expect people to respect you. You kill people in Brelena and in Mututlu who are asking for water, and you expect people to respect you. They have invited this on themselves. And if there's anyone else who is to be blamed, it's themselves. Like the President of COP says. So the anarchists are those who disrespect the Constitution of this country, who are fighting to protect the Constitution of this country. Just imagine if there was no money stolen, or if the money stolen was paid back as instructed by the Public Protector, we wouldn't be where we are now. If the men respect the institution, we are fighting for Public Protector here. And not a Public Protector as an individual, but a Chapter 9 institution deriving its existence from the Constitution. Its decisions superseding the decisions of any other committee. An anarchist in the form of a president says to us, he can only listen to the Minister of Police and not the Public Protector. And then we must listen and respect such a president. We are leaderless. So these people have converted South Africa into a banana republic. Lawlessness. We can't sit back and allow that. We are reclaiming South Africa of Nelson Mandela yet. We're not going to sit back and allow Zuma's rot to continue in this country. He can do whatever he wants to do, but at least we have a platform in that parliament to raise our issues. I said we are meeting a leader of government business, exactly what Mtatelo Kota is saying. We're going to say to him, bring the matter back. The matter must be on the table. Let the matter be discussed by Parliament, because we need to arrive at the truth. We are not challenging any rule. We don't. I said we are not here for those things of rules in the previous press conference. We are here to pursue a revolution. That's what we are doing. So there is no rule we're interested in. We're interested in resolving the problems of our people. And if there is any problem of the rule which makes it impossible, that rule will never be complied with. We don't comply with unjust rules here. Rules must help us to resolve the problems our people are confronted with. And such problems amongst them is the unaccountability of leadership. There's no rule we're going to comply with in demanding Zuma to account about where the money is. We've complied with the Constitution, allowed the public protector to take the matter through. Even when we're impatient and agitated, we remained calm. Public protector finished her work. We're still being told about another process. That is testing the patience of our people. And they will be met with what they were met with today in Parliament. That's what you get when you test the patience of the people. So they must know that this matter of Nkandla is not going to rest until the man complies with the public protector. The ANC must tell Zuma to comply with the public protector. That's all. And stop releasing the same old statement. They will release those statements every time the assembly, every time a parliament meets. They didn't have to type the new one. They might just go and change the date and the time and release it, the same statement. Because that's what is going to happen. You comply with the law, you do what our constitution expects you to do, we are friends. There's no anything of anarchy which requires of statement. We have no timeline with the leader of government. We just came from the parliament. We'll write a letter and then see through the process. So the sooner we attend to this matter, the better. So the ANC statement really is not something to be taken serious from ourselves. Plus, agree, those ANC statements are released by somebody who's not very serious with life, called Zizi Godwa. So there's nothing to take serious about Zizi Godwa. I mean, he's a clown of note. No time for such things like Zizi Godwa. We're busy here with issues of national interest. Not Zizi Godwa. So he must be busy there in the squatter camp called the Julius House. Here is Parliament. He has never been here, he doesn't know what are the procedures here. So he must relax. Oversight is Parliament. Those things of committee. Those are the things which are delaying us. Those things are delaying us too much. Because oversight committee on presidency, you are going to be seized with that Jeff Radebe. He's the one who's going to come there on behalf of presidents. They won't come, those people. There, in plenary, in the assembly, that's where the president must account. In front of all of us. He's the head, he's the CEO of a company called South Africa. Must account in front of all the shareholders. And then the shareholders must hold him accountable. So that is the platform we're going to use. We are worried about the safety of our members. And we've since issued an instruction that they must move in groups. They must stop going inside the buses because they get insulted in those buses when they go to the residential areas. And they get threatened by ANC members. So we've since said they must stay together. We're arranging common transport every time they move. There must be some common transport, and then we'll beef up their security to ensure that their stay here is more secured and no one intimidates them. But they are fearless fighters and they are not scared. But as leadership, we must act responsibly so that we don't regret later why we've not taken steps to secure our members. I've never seen ANC members so angry, like ministers, and they were calling us all sorts of things. Every part of our body was called today by ministers and deputy ministers and members of parliament. There is that chairperson of my committee there, Zed. He pushed the door. He's a coward. He pushed they were pushing, insisting on opening the door there so that they can come in. So when he pushed, unfortunately he came in alone. Police blocked those others. And then he was looking at the beggar. He was behaving like he's so brave. So when he was inside alone, he didn't know what to do. So those are clowns and cowards that you don't have to take serious. I mean, he needs a morph for him to fight. So we don't need those kinds of people. And we can't be scared of such people. So we are here, we're going to continue with our business, and we'll continue to be as robust as we are. When we're invited to any meeting, we'll go there to continue with the business of the EFF in Parliament. Thank you very much.
Okay, before we adjourn, I'd like to applaud the members of the media for insisting to stay in the house today, regardless of the police instructions. Let us all play our role, our critical role, to make sure that the country of Nelson Mandela comes back from Zuma. Thank you, and this press conference is duly adjourned.
Thank you.